All right, guys. Looks like we are officially on the air. We are live. Before I say anything, the first thing that I must say is Habari Gari, Habari Gani. And when I say Habari Gani, you're supposed to answer with whatever principle it is of the day. So you would say Kuji Chagalia. And so Habari Gani, Kuji Chagalia. That is how you start your Kwanzaa day on the day that it is. Yesterday was Umoja. So that was what was said after you said Habari Gani. But today is Kuji Chagalia. And so we're going to just give people an opportunity to come in. And while they're coming in, we're just going to, chit chat a little bit, guys. And so we're going to get started. Yes. Hey, Central. Habari Gari. Habari Gani. He said Kuji Chagalia. So you would go back to him. That's what's the news. Like,
Okay.
that's the chant. So yeah, we were having like a real interesting conversation behind the scenes, Central. We're going to get into it in a little bit. It's a great conversation. Really excited to have these gentlemen join me. I'm going to go on the Facebook page and share it to my personal page and all of that good stuff. And so, yes, invite people in, say hello, tell us where you're from, like, comment, share. Isn't that what they say, Jamal? Like, comment, share.
Subscribe.
Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're streaming live on Black Educators Rock Facebook pages and in the Facebook
Yeah.
and on the YouTube channel. And I'm going to also stream it to my personal page. And so join us, guys, and have others join us. And again, Habari Gani. Habari Gani. Let me see, can I do this here? And you guys are able to share. Oh, it looks like it's already on my page. I see it right here. So feel free to share. Share it, invite people in. Good evening, Tracy. Can't wait to have you on tomorrow. Tracy's from Canada. She's a part of the Black Educators Association in Canada, and she also works for the Halifax Regional Municipality. So many of you all know I went and I spoke in Canada, and so someone was responsible for bringing me to one of my speaking engagements there. She's going to be on tomorrow talking about how she works for the municipality in Canada, right? So she's a government worker in Canada. She'll be on tomorrow, Miss Tracy. So hey, all the way from Canada. So yes, y'all, Black Educators Rock. We're international. Yes, yes, yes. So again, it is, guys, the second day of Kwanzaa. Our second day of Kwanzaa. And so as we all know, Kwanzaa is celebrated December 26th until January 1st. It is celebrated for 7 days. It is a 7 day celebration. It comes right after Christmas. The day after Christmas, it begins. That is when you celebrate it, right? You celebrate Kwanzaa. That's the celebration. Kwanzaa is the celebration of the Nguzo Saba, which are seven principles, right? Seven values. Um, Someone, Dr. Malana Karenga, created Kwanzaa and the principles and everything that goes into Kwanzaa. 1966. He's an activist, an author, a professor, but he wanted something to kind of ground Black folks. And so those of us that understand that it was during a time we kind of were kind of restless. He was just trying to provide some direction and some foundation. And so he created the Nguzo Saba, which are just seven principles. And so again, they start on December 26th, and you start with Umoja, which we celebrated yesterday, the first day of Kwanzaa. And we didn't host our normal virtual streaming like we're doing now because we were Umoja in action. We collaborated with the Melanin Collaborative Group, who puts on the Melanin Markets here in Jacksonville, Florida. So she did an inaugural Kwanzaa celebration in person. And so I had the privilege of speaking at her event. And I also invited two Black Educators Rock sisters of mine Dr. Sheikta Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor down, and they spoke at this celebration yesterday. We had some babies that came and they stepped and they did some steps to some Kwanzaa tunes, and we had the lighting of the Kanara. We had singing. It was a beautiful affair that we did for Umoja, guys. It was wonderful. And so, we know that again, we start with unity. That is our principal foundation. Why is that the foundation? Y'all, because if we ain't together, we can't accomplish nothing, right? So if we're not together, we cannot accomplish anything. And so that's why we start with Umoja, right? It says, without it, all other principles suffer. It symbolizes the unity of family, community, nation, and race, right? Unity. We're always trying to get to unity, guys. Listen, it's not just simply just being in spaces together. I was telling somebody the other night, we were at a party, Oliver, Jamal. I was at a party last night, believe it or not. After the celebration, I went with Dawn, who puts on the Melon Market. I went with her to this little party. And so it was a big party. It wasn't a little party. It was a big party. It was a lot of folks, different backgrounds. And so we were at the party and nobody was really talking to each other. They just all talked to the people they came with. There was no interaction. When we grew up, you talked to everybody. We moved rooms, we worked the rooms, you know what I'm saying? Some real unity. It's more than just being in a space together, right? It is a harmonious togetherness, right? It is both a principle and practice of togetherness in all things. And so we had that phenomenal experience yesterday. And then that brings us to today, which is principle number 2, Kujichagulia, self-determination. And so yesterday my shirt said it takes a village. And it said hashtag it starts with me. And so that was my shirt for unity, because normally I have the names of the principles, but I try to switch it up some now. Tomorrow, I try to give them something different. So this shirt tonight says, if you can't make a way, no, if you can't find a way, make a way. If you can't find a way, make a way. So that's self-determination. That's Hustle University. That's my big brother Hotep. He does some speaking and consulting, and he talks a lot about different topics. He used to be a kindergarten teacher, but now he talks about the 10 commandments of a hustler and some other stuff. But it's about entrepreneurism. So this is his shirt, self-determination. And so we're going to be talking to 2 gentlemen tonight about self-determination. Mr. Jamal Reimer and Mr. Oliver Ross. We were supposed to have a third gentleman, but and I want to make sure I give him a shout out. If you saw the flyers going around, his name is actually Kujichagulia. His parents named him after tonight's principal, and he's an education advocate, and so he works for an educational program company. But he had a death. His brother passed away, and he and his family were getting together to discuss his brother's passing. And so, Kujichagulia, right? Our prayers and thoughts are with you. As I said when I texted you, I am praying for continued strength and peace during this most difficult time. May God keep his loving arms wrapped around you and your family. And so, Kujichagulia. So tonight we have Oliver and Jamal. And so Oliver Ross is a serial entrepreneur, and Jamal Reimer is a financial analyst, and so financial advisor. So we're going to be having a conversation about self-determination, and we're going to just, have a conversation, because I think, Oliver, when it comes to these principles, Jamal, what happens is people think we just do the little 7-day celebration and that's it. But what we have to understand is that these are principles, these are things, these are values that we should be living every day, right? And so we're going to be talking to people who embody, who live self-determination. And so we're going to start with Oliver. We're starting with age, y'all, over beauty. So, me and Oliver, and we're gonna let the young people go last. So Jamal the baby, so we're gonna let him go last. And so I'm going to preface the conversation with Mr. Oliver Ross, and preface it with Oliver and I actually grew up together. We're childhood friends. I'm from Daytona Beach, and so is Oliver. Our baby sisters were best friends. So, it was always going back and forth to people's houses. But Oliver knows Melissa. Very few people know Melissa. Oliver knows Melissa. So you know, Oliver, much like myself, comes from humble beginnings. And so, Oliver, tell the good people just a little bit about who you were, who you are, what you do, etc.
Well, like Dr. Chester was saying earlier, my name is Oliver Ross. I'm born and raised in Daytona Beach. I'm a veteran. I went to the military 95 and got out 98. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I do real estate, land development, and I'm a restaurateur. We have a restaurant. I'm gonna plug my restaurant. It's called the Crowd Stop. We had three in Florida, one in Sebastian, one in Vero, and of course one is in Daytona Beach. So if you ever want to come to Crab Stop, you can just say I know Oliver, and they might give you a corn fritter. But no, no. But yeah, I was born and raised here in Daytona, and just from a kid, I always knew that I was gonna be something. I had something within me that was gonna be great, and here we are today. I'm on this on this platform, so I guess I'm doing something right.
Huh? Okay. So you went to the military out of high school.
Yeah, a little bit after high school. Yeah.
A little bit after high school. What
hmm
branch?
Army. Yep.
Went to the army. Did your
hmm
4 years and said that's enough.
Actually, I did three. I got hurt. A medical. I got a medical discharge.
Okay. And so after military, what did you come home and do?
I actually went to barber school.
Okay.
Went to barber school. Got out of barber school. I cut hair for like 14 years. Um, Within that time, I actually bought the first crab stop. We started off with one crab stop. We went all the way up to seven. COVID killed a couple of them, and we had to get rid of a couple of other franchises because they wasn't sending the royalties back like they supposed to. So we back down to three, but we rise.
Still moving forward. Okay.
Yes.
So it was important to get some of that background. Okay. And so, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to come back to it.
Right.
Jamal,
Jamal spinning.
there you
Yeah,
go.
uh,
Give people about a little bit about you, Jamal.
well, I'm not, I don't have as much wisdom as these two other people on the line, but I know my name is Jamal Rama, born and raised in the South Bronx. Yeah, what else? The funny thing is, Dr. Chester and Mr. Oliver's, I don't know if you guys could see now, but I'm blind. But I wasn't always blind. You see, my first goal in life before I got into finance, my first goal was to go into the NFL. So
Mm,
it was already set in stone. I already had a full scholarship to college. Scouts was
mm,
looking at me. It was already set in stone. Like I knew I was gonna get in the NFL. I was that good.
mhm.
And at the age of 17, I woke up one day and I couldn't see out of both eyes.
Wow.
Mom, she rushed me to the hospital. Doctors did surgery. You know what the doctor said? They said, Jamal, you'll never be able to see again.
Wow.
At 17.
17 years old. And I just want you to think about it. You got your whole future already set in motion. You know what you want to do. And that's the way you're going to get your family out their situation. And then one day it just gets taken away from you.
Mm, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't realize that we were backstage that
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
blind.
you messed me up with that, Jamal. You got me on that. I, you
That's
know,
it. And he told you, you remember what he said? He said he did what? Plays golf.
yeah, he say he play golf and all. So no, that
He
didn't
got a
register.
video. You don't believe me? I can play the video.
What you
Jamal
telling me
played
now is
golf in
just
our golf
wow,
tournament. He did. He
yeah,
played.
but,
He went and took lessons. He plays
wow,
yeah.
golf.
Yeah, but right now I had to dust myself off, got back up, went to college. Right now I'm studying for my PhD in finance at Pace. I own my own little financial advisory practice. I had to
hmm
think about what was my next move in life.
correct.
And what I thought about was what's the best way I could make money without using my eyes.
hmm
And that's why I chose finance because in the game of finance, you just need to use your mind.
hmm
You know more, you make more.
Correct. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Impressive.
yeah.
Jamal invest some of my money for me.
Okay.
I don't just talk Kwanzaa, I walk it, baby.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll
so
have to talk after this, Jamal.
what you,
That's funny.
I sure do. And with Oliver and I are working on making sure that he builds an apartment complex. A small, no, not apartment. Yeah, apartments.
It's apartment complex, yes.
Apartment
Mhm.
complex in Daytona. We're going to
Mhm.
make sure he gets the funding for that in our hometown. Super proud of him with that. It's going to be called Ross Court.
Mhm.
So he's motivated me. I got to get something named after me. It's going to be Noland something. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Impressive young men we're talking to today, right? So Jamal, I know Jamal blew y'all mind with that. I know y'all wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. You messed me up, Jamal.
Jamal is literally blind, visually impaired. He does not see. Jamal comes to events and conferences. Jamal came to Texas when I hosted my um, conference in Texas in 24, Houston. Jamal came and spoke at my conference. He spoke to the young people and he spoke to the teachers. He did a session,
Mm.
a community day with the kids first. So he did financial literacy with the little ones. And then he did the big conference and spoke to the educators and the professionals at the conference. Yeah, he traveled to Houston, y'all. This man is like amazing. He'll be in Orlando at our 10th annual rock conference. We'll be doing it
Definitely.
July 17th through the 20th, the 10th. And we're doing it in Orlando, Oliver, because that's where we started. That
Oh,
was where
nice.
one was. So since it's the 10th, we're gonna take it back to Orlando. And yeah, Jamal is a beast. Jamal, like I didn't do that like Jamal before my life.
All
Jamal
right.
Oliver makes you erase excuses.
That's it.
You around there talking
Awesome.
to him, you like, man, that man can't see. And that man be in more places than I be at when it and better himself.
That's good.
Call and check on us. I get a call from my little brother, Chester, what you doing? This guy is something, and he went blind at 17, guys. Not born, went blind at 17. Think about that.
Mm.
Not making no excuses.
That's it.
Yeah. Oliver and I, we
Mm.
grew up, humble.
Good.
So my mom was 17 when she had me. Dropped out of high school. I'm the oldest. Soul City
Mm.
Projects. Did the
Yeah.
projects for a long time.
Hmm.
But they call me Dr. Chester in these streets, and I do some stuff,
Yeah.
right? Coogee Chagalia. We all have our own struggle, our own thing that we have to persevere through. And that perseverance is not just for us, right? The perseverance is not just for us. It's for us, but it's not just for us, right? It's not just for us. Principal Kafele says he looks forward to meeting you, Brother Jamal. That's my big brother, Jamal. That's big bro. So I'm big sis, but that's big bro. So I can't wait for you guys to meet.
Hmm.
You're out in California. You're coming to California, right?
Yes, everything booked already, so I'm coming.
That's what I'm saying. See, I'm presenting at Knowledge Con. Principal Kafele presenting at Knowledge Con. Jamal coming to Knowledge Con. Knowledge Con in LA, y'all. Hey, Arnold, this young man is amazing. He's
Yeah.
29 years old.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, this when I be trying to feel like I want to get weak, and I be feeling like I want to quit. I think
Hmm.
about people like Jamal. I be like, man, I can't even. I'd be disrespecting Jamal. I'd be disrespecting people like y'all don't know her, but you gave her a shout out. Merlina Valentine. Shiro, I call her Shiro. Merlina Shiro Valentine. She's a quad amputee. She was a principal and she got sepsis and went into the hospital and came out with no arms and no legs.
Mm.
She go to conferences all across the country too. And she be dancing. She presents. She's a presenter. She's a speaker, right? Alana Shiro Valentine, Jamal. You right making up excuses? If you
Mm.
don't get yourself together, the self-determination, guys, to define oneself to name oneself, to create for ourselves, and to speak for ourselves. This is self-determination collectively, right? Self-determination to define ourselves. Are we allowing what media, all this, what others stereotypes, are we allowing those things to define us and name us, create for us and speak for us? Or are we doing it ourselves? Right? What's coming through our algorithm? For those of us that like the social media a lot. I'll tell you, Jamal, I don't get a lot of drama on my social media. I don't get a lot of stuff. I get a lot of positive stuff because that's what I post and that's what I look for. And so that's what returns to me. Check your algorithm now. Check your algorithms, because what are you allowing other people to tell you about you? Stop believing the rhetoric. Define yourself, speak for yourself, name yourself. Don't allow anything and anyone else to do so. And so that is what self-determination is about. It's about, I'm going to be the one that says who and what I am, how I do it, etc. Right? I decided that the little girl from Soul City Projects, Oliver, was not going to just be Melissa from Soul City Projects. She was going to decide to go off to school and get a degree, or 2 or 3, and open and run a business and teach on a collegiate level, and then run her own national nonprofit, support other major nonprofits, help conferences across the country, put on conferences, in addition to putting on her own, right? Co-authored some books, became a best-selling co-author. And as of 2025, which I will be talking more about tonight, I will be dropping my pre-sale for my book that will be released in 26. So I have a book and a workbook coming out. And guess what it's on? The 7 Principles. Oh, Living the 7, Igniting the Principles in Education and Leadership. That's the book. And then there's going to be an accompanying or standalone workbook or journal, reflection journal or workbook, whichever one you like. And it's called Living the 7, Purposeful Living. And what is it? For purposeful living and leading. So yeah, I'll be showing a little graphics and stuff later. Because yeah, we're gonna be checking off all our goals, Jamal. We're not gonna be making excuses.
It's a game plan.
I'm in the background, all the hard stuff written. I just got some last minute stories I got to add to the book, because I'll be putting in, like all y'all out here in these education streets and leadership streets that inspire me. Your stories will be in my book. And so, of course, Jamal will be under self-determination, and there will be other people that are in the book. Principal Kafele's in there. You all guess what principal he's under. You just guess. You should know, he speaks about it quite often. He's in the book. Principal Ra out of California, who's doing Knowledge Con. Dr. McKesey, who has OSG, is in the book. Some OSGers themselves are in the books, Principal Farrington, I said Principal Ra, who is also an OSG member. So, some educators that are in there. There are some leaders as well. Dawn Curling with the Melanin Market. She's in the book. She's doing some phenomenal things here for small Black businesses. We have some others in the book. We mentioned other businesses for cooperative economics. We're going to be talking about that collective work and responsibility. Mr. Ross is coming in on that part, hiring others, making sure that you're providing jobs. Not only are you in there as an entrepreneur, but you're also hiring those that you know and that are in the neighborhood. We Malcolm X spoke about that, making sure that we're hiring and supporting our own ecosystem. All of those things are so important when it comes to Kwanzaa. And so that's what I wrote about in my book. And then in the journal, it's about you understanding and taking the journey of understanding this is so much more than just 7 days. You don't put Kwanzaa and the principles up on January 1 and say, okay, I'll see it again next December 26th. These are values and principles we're supposed to live our life by, right? For unity, we're supposed to try to be working together. It's hard for us to work together, guys. Why is it so hard for us to work together, Jamal? Because you're young. I want to hear from a young perspective first.
Everybody, I think in our community, at the top, I think our people just want to be the ones who win. They just want to be known as the only black people up there. Lack of cooperation, lack of unity. That is my opinion. We want to be the one black person at the top. We don't want most of our people up there, because if we do, then we're not unique, not knowing that it's enough for everybody.
Ooh, that's what the 29-year-old said, y'all. And then Dr. Patricia said, eroded trust. You're going to have to elaborate on that one for me, Dr. Patricia, because why was it eroded? Why was that trust eroded? I was, because I'm glad you said that, because I wonder if it's the same point that when I think about unity and us not having it. But before I talk, Oliver, what do you think? Why?
No, I was actually thinking of the trust too, the lack of trust, because a lot of people when they get in positions, they actually move for the wrong reasons. Once they get there, they forget about where they came from, or just the subordinates that's underneath them. Me, I think totally different. Like, I try to empower people that's around me. Everyone's at all of my employees. I actually uplift them. I actually and try to get them to do their own business while they working for me. So a lot of them have their own business, and it's like I'm not scared for them to even quit and do their own thing. It's like I empower them to be greater, and most people don't. So
A lot of people don't.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, and so that's a part of, again, that's when you're walking those values, not just you're understanding what that is again. And so she said eroded trust, and Jamal mentioned us not wanting to be anybody else up there with you, want to be the only one, wanting to be the one, the one that everyone looks at. And so we were having that unity conversation last night, and we've been having that, and it's just, and somebody sent a question to me. They asked me, they said, well, who's the most important player on the chessboard?
The whole team.
And that's what I said. I said, well, each piece is just as important. So, the response was, oh, no, everybody say it's the king, and because the queen got to support the king. But I thought it was all, because they all play their own role. Everyone has an important role. And I think our unity is broken because for whatever reason, we fight our natural inclination to know that we are collective people. We are village people. We are communal people. We work better, faster, more effectively in collectives, in groups, in tribes, in units. But we are fighting ourselves because we're adopting this rugged individualism that is contrary to who and what we are as people. And so what happens is we're failing so miserably because we're doing it wrong. And so to your point, Oliver, Mr. Ross, there are only a few of us who we really walk this walk. Like we out here giving. Like, I walk in spaces not saying, how can I win or what can I do for me? I'm always going in trying to figure out the people that I'm connected to. How can I help them build, be better, have access? And anybody that knows me, that is around me, will vouch for that. Like, I can say this out loud without not worried about not one person returning and saying that's not true. There is not one person that can say I tried to withhold, withdraw, prevent, etc. I'm the one that's trying to always help somebody elevate. Now, a lot of people, they don't want to be elevated, and they don't know how to just articulate that. So they might, throw tantrums and do little things, and then some people just
That's real.
got them all around them one. They gonna hate no matter what, No matter what you do, Oliver, it's always gonna be a few of them. No matter how many turkey giveaways, bicycle giveaways, jobs you give away, it's gonna always be them ones. You know what I'm saying, bro? Always gonna be the ones, Jamal, no matter what. And so, them, we're not talking about them.
Yeah.
Them real ones, them ones that tell the truth. No, it's love. And because I give without expectation, I receive. limitless blessings. I'm always winning. People are always putting me in position, considering me, assisting me, because that's what I put out. And so people need to understand that there's no need to like hold on to. I mean, whew, if you give it, I promise you it returns. It comes back. It comes back tenfold. And so I hope that we can work on that eroded trust. And I just, I've always felt that eroded trust, Dr. Patricia, was based on, again, rhetoric. Because what will happen is we will have a bad experience with somebody Black. We'll try to support Black, and then we'll let that be the blanket statement for all Black businesses, not even just in that realm, but all of them. But we don't have that same mentality and energy towards others, right? We'll go to Chick-fil-A, well, not Chick-fil-A, because they're gonna always make it right. We'll go to McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or Whataburger or what is up north? They have the Jack in the Box. That's not what it's called. The In and Out or whatever it's called. That's California, In and Out. You got the one in New York. What's it called? Y'all little place. White Castle, I think, one of them.
Oh, White Castle.
You got all these places. When you have a bad experience, you don't be like, oh, I ain't going back. I ain't never going back. You'll go back. That same one. But Black people, you're gonna ask them all out. Listen, I don't have some bad experiences with some Black vendors. I have. I got one working on my website and stuff. Y'all, it's been a long time. When I say I paid a lot of money and I still ain't got nothing. But you know what I did, Oliver? I went and hired another Black person still for another aspect that I need. Because I'm not going to allow that one experience to everybody just raggedy.
Right.
It's just, I'm gonna keep giving. I'm gonna keep giving. I'm gonna keep giving, because that is who and what we're supposed to do, and that's what comes naturally to us. If you're not doing that, it's a reason you're not seeing success, right? Self-determination. We moving forward because we understand what moving forward is. Kuji Chagalia. Somebody say something. Let me see. She had a lot. She said, oh yes. So they did my cousin, Dr. Patricia, they brought us down in Florida. He was lynched and we did a whole ceremony, and he has a I forgot what you call it in Orlando. One of the historical thingies. So his name appears in the EJI, Equal Justice Initiative. Yes. Oh. So yes. Says some of us made it to the top in certain spaces and can't bring in others. Once they make it to the top, there's no space for others that look like us, and they won't speak up to create the space. Agreed, cousin Mark. Agreed. So these are some of the reasons. That was for you, Oliver. It says being yourself allows you to inspire goodness in others. That is it. I always say that. That's it right there, Central. I always say when you look at the core of a lot of this stuff, it comes from a lack of self-esteem. And people don't believe in me. Shamika, if you turn your camera on, I'll bring you up. But I think you still have your camera off. If you can hear me, she's backstage. She was gonna come on in place of Kuji Chagalia, but I just see a black screen. But yeah, I think it goes to that for unity. Then, when you don't, I always say, Oliver, what happens with us is that we allow the small things to become big things. And so we become distracted by distractions. And so I always use the analogy, since I'm in real estate too, for those that don't know, I am the broker owner of Red Phoenix Realty, and I have Red Phoenix Real Estate School. And so I'm also that, and I'm licensed in Georgia as well, Florida and Georgia licensed real estate professional. And so when it comes to this analogy, I always use the house analogy. So here it is, we all got together and we said we're going to build this house, right? And so we all know that the most important thing for the house. We all know what it is, right? So we getting together to build the house. And then here goes somebody done started talking about the walls and what color the walls gonna be. And now they don't got into these arguments. People are arguing about wall colors. And now people leaving and walking out and picking sides and about wall colors. And we ain't even poured the foundation yet. Foundation ain't even poured. Say that to say we have to stop allowing people to divide our interests. And what I mean by that, so tired of the black man versus black woman narrative. Oh my God, everybody got issues. Everybody. Everybody needs some therapy. Everybody need to just be every day trying to show up as their best self. Just be working to improve him or herself, right? And stop talking about what the other one ain't doing and should do and what we will and all of that stuff. We got to get past it. Define yourself. Define your own relationships and dynamics. Self-determination. Coochie chocolate. And then, when it comes to someone's sexuality, that's their business. That's you. That's all you. That ain't my business. That ain't got nothing to do with me, right? That's your choice. I can't tell you what you should be able to do and how you should live it, etc. Right? So when I'm a black woman or I'm a black lesbian or I'm black first. Those other subdivisions, they don't really matter. At first, look at the first one. So, when it comes to feminism for a black woman, I don't know, some of that stuff is contrary to who you are as a black woman. If you have never ever looked it up, look up Africana womanism. Look it up. Phenomenal research. Talks about collectivism and individuality. And it shows that, more Eurocentric, United States high, 91 out of 100. Yeah, like Nigeria, other areas are like in the 20s. The higher you are, the more individual you are. So we fall on more, those of us that have those African roots fall more on the collective side. In United States and other Europe and Germany, they fall more on the individual side. But we keep just trying to be individual. We just keep trying and we're not understanding it, right? Gotta understand those delineations, those distractions. Hopefully that wasn't too deep for y'all, but that's part of self-determination. Defining yourself, naming oneself. True, your camera not on. Okay, I'm gonna have to put you back in the thingy. Unless you turn your camera on. Okay. All right, so self-determination. Jamal.
Talk to me.
Jamal. Self-determination. What made you go pursue a PhD, Jamal? I'm just curious. What made you do it?
You did. No. No, the OSG family. It's like when you're around people that's getting to their next level, the only thing you could do is get to the next level, especially when you're around Black excellence. So, and they pushed me to do it, to be honest with you. But I think when you're in a community of people that want better for you, you got to go get to the next level, and it's all about thinking bigger and going after your goals. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Yeah, he's working his PhD because we made it. He just yeah, I think you should do it. He said, "Oh, I thought you was gonna be the one to say no." Yeah, no, I don't know why you thought that. You got to do it, and he is doing it, right? While also being a financial advisor.
Yeah, it's trying to be like you. You sound like you got more stuff going on than me, so I gotta step my game up.
I mean, I am almost twice your age, so listen, you doing darn great.
Yeah.
Wish I was that motivated and focused at 29. You know where I would have been now?
Where?
No, but hindsight is always 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't live in that now, can we, y'all? Can't live in that. Self-determination. Mr. Ross.
Yes.
How many children do you have?
I got grown kid. grown adult kids. So two adult women and two adult men.
Your granddaddy, huh?
Yeah.
How many grandkids you got?
4, 5.
5
Mhm.
grandkids. You know, me and Oliver went to school together. I
Yeah.
got a 13 and 15-year-old.
Yeah.
It's amazing how like decisions, how they like the outcomes of them. So he's a grandfather, and I'm right here in middle school football and etc. While he's a grandfather, his children are grown. They're
Yeah.
adult. How was it being a younger dad?
How was it? Oh wow. Well, actually, in retrospect, at the when I look back on it, um, I thought it was hard, but it actually helped me develop to be a man faster, and it gave me because I was a good father. So I was. It made me. It made me look at life in a whole different manner. I was more serious about life earlier than most people. So I was more driven to be successful faster. Because most of the time when you're young, you think about partying and all that stuff. No, me, I got to take care of these kids. I got to make sure they have food on the table. I got to make sure they have private schools and all that stuff. So it was actually good. And now I don't have any kids, so I can just live my life. But you can't. Well,
Well, you
I
know,
could travel. I could travel. I can do whatever I want to do. No limit right now. So it actually worked for me. Worked out for me.
um, Principal Kafela, I'm just now finding it, so I'm going to ask him that now. So I just found. I saw you told me to find it and ask the question, so I have to do what I'm told by the elder. So, Brother Ross, he's
Hmm.
curious about how you created multiple franchises. He wants you to talk to the people about that.
Well, actually, initially a person just came by and asked us how could they get one, make a crab stop, and at the time I wasn't familiar with the intel of being a franchisor. So once we got all the information, we got all the paperwork, all the legal stuff done, and we had the blueprint, we just had to duplicate it in another space. And we did it 7 times. So I got the blueprint down, but we can get in more detail if you like at another time. I can give you more information on that.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mr. Ross. Thank you, Principal Kafele. My apologies. I just saw it. So yes. So because again, when you talk about the principles, because we were talking about Kuji Chagalia, but you still have the other 5 principles, right? We said Umoja, we know that's unity. Kuji Chagalia, self-determination. We know tomorrow we have collective work and responsibility, which is Ujima, right? We have that tomorrow. Ujima, right? Collective work and responsibility. Then we have the next day, we have Ujama, and that is no Ujama, and that is cooperative economics, right?
Mm.
So when we're talking about what he's talking about, you see the other principles coming into play with self-determination. The values are all intermingled. They're like that's again, this is not like something you just do, you just talk about for the day and then you just, oh, this is what it is, and you talk about it for the day and it's it. You're supposed to be trying to actively and intentionally implement these principles, these values in your daily living. And so that is why I wrote the reflection journal, because I've been talking that noise for, I think, for a year or two. I think maybe 2 years, Principal Kafele. I kept saying, yeah, I'm going to do something about Kwanzaa because, every year, people just do the 7 days. And so this year I made sure to be intentional. Listen, that journal, Jamal, that journal
Mm.
takes a principle and you on that principle for 7 weeks.
Mm.
So it's 7 principles, 7 weeks each. That's 49 weeks. And then you have 3 weeks for reflection to get you up to this week of Kwanzaa. And you start.
Mm.
It's really, really intentionally written. Like it takes the principle and you're working with that principle for 7 weeks. It's a 52 weekly journal. So you're not doing it every day. It's a 52 week. It's pretty cool. I can't wait to show some graphics and share some information about it this week. So I'm excited about it. So that's the reflection journal. And then, like I said, the book is talking about the principles and how they show up in education and leadership. And then it's giving tangible examples with people from my Black Educators Rock, OSG, other educators I know from across other platforms, and leaders, community leaders, entrepreneurs, real estate professionals. Those tangible examples are in the book, also helping to bring forth that principle. That's the textbook. And so, in education and leadership. So, yeah, pretty excited about it. And then the journal has 3 editions. I think I said that: a personal reflection. No, I told you guys backstage: a personal reflection journal, a leadership reflection journal, and a group study and PLC workbook. 3 different editions depending on who you are and what you need it for. Because we want to make sure we cover everyone's needs. I'm excited. It's long overdue, guys. Me writing a book is long overdue. Self-determination. Listen, I'm a part of Black Educators Rock and OSG, and I'm just watching people drop books like, I mean, Facebook Kafele, I think he got like 85 books. O'Neill Chapman got 20-something books. O'Neill in his 30s, maybe early 40s. He got 20-something books. And all these people, I'm on my 4th book, and I'm like, I have not dropped 1 book yet. So I was like, okay, I'm dropped by 5 books in 26. So I'm working on 2 now, right? So I got the journal, which has 3 editions, and I have the book, right? And I got some more stuff coming because I'm out here slipping, I'm around all this excellence, and I'm not being excellent, right? That's what the principles are about. That, listen, you want to be around greatness and understand and how it just. Listen, I've seen so many people become doctors, working on their doctorates. I mean, it's a collective that feeds off of each other, and you know what else we do? We support each other's businesses. Cooperative economics, collective work and responsibility. Y'all, we got to start living these principles, living them. We got to live the principles, Lord. We got to start living them. Listen. Self-determination is about you defining who you are and what your experience is, what you look like, right? And it's different for each of us. Oliver talked about, being someone who, decided not to go to college, went off to the military, came back, got a trade license, then became his own boss, then became an entrepreneur. He was a young dad. Talking about, hey, still make sure to keep moving forward regardless. Jamal talked about the fact that, he became blind at 17. He had a whole nother vision of life for himself. He saw himself playing in the NFL, and that was taken away in a blink of an eye, like literally, right? Woke up and could not see and was told would never see again, but still has gone on to become a financial advisor. So he has a college degree. He's working on his doctorate. He's a financial advisor again. He plays golf. He attends and presents at conferences all across the country. And he's blind, right? He's not making no excuses, y'all. And so I talked a little bit about me, a little bit about, I am from Soul City Projects, Daytona Beach. My mom had me at 17. She was a high school dropout. I'm the first of 3 girls for my mom. My dad has an older girl and then a baby girl. So he has all girls too. So it's only girls from like mom or dad, but I have stepbrothers because my dad married someone who has 7 children. So I have 7 sisters and brothers. And and so grew up in Daytona and grew up rough in the projects, and had a lot of traumas before I was in my double digits. Molested, 2 near-death experiences. I got hit by a car by a drunk driver, hit and run, and I almost drowned. All these things, and saw somebody die in front of me, all before I was 10, right? But still went on to do some stuff. Had a lot of trauma as a young adult as well, but not making any excuses for any of it. Still moving forward, still accomplishing goals, right? Got 3 degrees. Took me a little minute to get that first one, Jamal. Listen, I went to school on the academic scholarship. A lot of people don't know this about me. I went to FAMU on an academic scholarship because my mama said ain't no such thing as no athletic scholarship. That was a long time ago. It was no WNBA. She was like, you play basketball for it. You can't go nowhere with it. So academic it is. So I went on the Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune scholarship. I left Daytona Beach where Mary McLeod Bethune school is and took my scholarship to FAMU. I was on scholarship, Oliver. I went to FAMU in 91.
That's bad.
It took me 7 years to get the bachelor's. I don't flunk that because I don't got a 0.75 my sophomore year. They don't put me out of school. It took me 7 years to get a bachelor's. I was so embarrassed. I jumped right back. I did graduate cum laude with my bachelor's. I did because it dropped. And it took me a long time to make it climb back up after that little 0.75 0.75 principle of failure. Point, not 1, 0.75. Whew. Whew. Yeah, it's on my transcript still, y'all. It ain't never going nowhere. All of it's on there. It say 0.75. It say 0.75, y'all. Oh, but I graduated cum laude, Tramika, cum laude, which allowed me to get a scholarship for my master's degree. And I had 4.0 in that. And then I went on to get my doctorate at Florida State. And I think I made 2 B's in my doctorate. So I was listening. I had to make up for the flunking out in undergrad. But yeah, I'm Dr. such and such now. Well, it was a long, long road here, Tramika. And then I bring on this young lady, Tramika. I'm only gonna hold her I want her just to tell her story because there's so many different lenses to self-determination. So Tramika is Bahamian and American. That's right. Did I lose her? Dog it. She's gone, y'all. I don't want to tell her story. She's not here, so I'm not going to tell it. She'll have to come in another time and tell her story. Bad reception. Where she at? I don't know where she at, Oliver. I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault. You thought she was about to get the story. I'm sorry.
That's funny.
No, he's funny. Listen, Principal Kafele is on this franchise. And what I would do, Principal Kafele, I will make sure that is a session at the Rock Conference in Orlando in July. Oliver, you heard me? Because we have we have 3 areas of focus for those that don't know. We have instructional strategies and practices, professional knowledge, instructional strategies and practices like teaching, reading, math, all the curriculum, all that stuff. Professional knowledge, grant writing, classroom management, all that kind of stuff. And then we have advocacy and empowerment. And that's what we want, like financial empowerment. We don't like no financial literacy. Financial empowerment, self-care, it falls up under that. So you can come and speak about that and be under the advocacy and empowerment, how you do a franchise. Right? So yeah. Okay. So we'll make sure that happens. And the dates again are July 17th through the 20th. 17th through the 20th. Okay. Tramika. So Tramika's Bahamian and American, right? Tramika, I don't think your service gonna let you be great. I don't think you on the phone, and that's what they remember. I was telling you, what you on, Oliver? You on a computer?
Yes.
But you on the phone, aren't you, Jamal?
Yeah, I'm good money though.
I see. I was
I'm good.
It's free for you. You're not going to be able to do it.
I'm good money.
I don't know where you are. We can't hear nothing you saying. You froze, and you sound like you're gone. We'll try next time. Well, I promise you we'll get you on next time. That was we will be in Orlando. Our first one was in Orlando, so we're gonna go for the 10th one in Orlando. So I'll be dropping all that stuff in the year. So excited to be back in Orlando. July 7th.
You know when you having it? You having it like at the Marriott like last time, or? You
I
still
was here
looking?
in Jacksonville. You haven't been to Orlando yet. You came to
Nah.
Jacksonville. Yes,
Yeah.
Jacksonville, Houston. You going to LA? Jamal, Jamal be getting around, y'all. Jamal don't be making no excuse. Hey, y'all sitting around and ain't been nowhere elevating yourself and ain't been to no conferences and no professional development. Y'all see this 29-year-old visually impaired blind gentleman is across the country improving himself at conferences and conventions, presenting and attending. Mm-mm-mm. My goodness. Self-determination. Kujichagulia. Kujichagulia.
Mhm.
So I know when it comes to Kwanzaa, like I said, it was Dr. Malana Karinga, 1966. He was trying to, like I said, just give us some grounding, right? Because we needed it as a people. And so a lot of people think that this is religious. It's not religious. It's not spiritual. It is a secular thing. It's about values and principles. And so, a lot of people, and I talk about, I know a lot of people don't know Kwanzaa, but what we try to do is bring enlightenment to the practice of it, to the principles, to the values of it, just to have, a recentering of self. Because Oliver, we do better collectively. We thrive better in collectives. And so when we figure that out, we're going to see so many things turn around in our spaces, right? As I was telling them last night when I was speaking, we're supposed to come to all spaces that we enter. We're supposed to enter those spaces in an effort to improve them and make them better. Any space that we work, play, serve, whatever it is, we're supposed to enter that space to improve it. And if we're not doing that, then what are we really doing? Then we have to look at what do we say our values are as opposed to what they really are, right? Having an honest conversation with ourselves. And the journal does that. My journal does that. It makes you ask yourself because it's just you in that book. Hey, this is not about where you should be, but where you are. And let's have an honest conversation. Let's reflect. Let's introspect, right? Because I don't think people do that enough. We don't have introspection. We don't have conversation with ourselves. And if we do, those difficult, honest conversations with ourselves, those truly authentic, transparent conversations with ourselves. And so to get back realigned, because this is all about alignment, right? Alignment. What I notice is, you asked me backstage, Oliver, I think it was you, Jamal, what made me get into Kwanzaa? And I was telling
Mm-hmm.
you about that. I just always search for things, all things Black excellence, upliftment, edifying of Black folks. And so I found Kwanzaa and became interested. Probably a year, 2 years after being interested, I just started doing the Kwanzaa celebration through the nonprofit Black Educators Rock, because I realized that while I had not grown up learning anything about Kwanzaa, and I had kind of, heard about it off and on as an adult, I realized that I am Kwanzaa. Like I know I can confidently say that I intentionally and purposefully and purposely I do. I walk in those values and those principles daily. Even Jamal, sometimes Oliver, it 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 hurts me, right? It takes away something, but I still continue to, because I receive far more positive than I do negative when I'm walking in that authenticity of those principles and those values. And so self-determination, unity, cooperative economics, collective work and responsibility, creativity, faith, and purpose. I didn't say I'm in order, but I said the seven principles, right? When I'm walking in those things and I'm cognizant of those things, alignment with the earth comes into play. Start seeing some good development. I start seeing some positive stuff coming back to me. I start getting things accomplished, right? I start, helping other people accomplish things. We have to work on it, y'all. We just have to just get back into that space of understanding who and what we are, right? What y'all what y'all
That's
think?
deep. That's deep.
You think it was deep?
Yeah, deep. That sounds good.
Kwanzaa is deep. Kwanzaa is
That's
so like
deep.
when you really like get into it, like I said, you now I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hold you. It do make you heavy, kind of. It be heavy. But we was talking about that in the back. We was talking about that. That
Mm,
said, we was talking about it. To whom much is given, much is required. So you can't be expecting to get all these blessings and not think that something gonna be heavy sometimes, because it's
true.
gonna be heavy.
Mm,
And I was trying to think. I was Ricky Smiley had somebody, a pastor, was talking about like when you get all them blessings that don't think that blessings ain't gonna come with opposition or something to that effect. It was like, oh, so yeah, it's gonna come. That's part of it, right?
mm,
But you just got to keep working through it. And so those principles is about working through it. It's about working through it. And so each of us are doing it in our different ways. Tramika was somebody she's Bahamian American, but she has a very different story. She grew up off and on in Bahamas in the United States, South Florida. And so she was going to tell her story. And it's her story to tell. So we'll make sure that we get her on at another time. But yes. What would you like to hear from Oliver, and what motivates you to do what you're doing, Oliver? So Don wants to know what
Mm.
motivates you to do what you're doing? I
Um,
want you to do me a favor. Would you tell the story about what happened with one of your employees at your place of business?
oh, when I got shot.
Yeah,
Oh,
tell the
mm.
story.
oh, real quick. Well, we caught one of our employees actually stealing. We was missing money every month. The money wasn't coming out right. So we kind of put a sting together, and we actually caught the thief. Um and we fired her. It was at closing, and we fired her. I gave her some choice words because I was upset. Because we always look out for people, give them extra hours, give them extra pay when they need it, loan them money, things of that nature. So I was really upset. We fired her, but she went outside and she called her brothers. Her brothers came, and I went to go talk to them just to tell them what happened. But she lied to them, saying we beat her up. So
Mm.
needless to say, they came with their guns drawn, already out, ready to do some damage. I'm licensed to carry. Plus I got military experience, so you automatically they the enemy. So I shot at them, and they shot me twice, and still I rise. I'm still here to talk about it. They actually went to prison for a lot of years. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
But it did not stop you from hiring. Still,
No,
same types of people, same
right,
people
right.
opportunities, people that
Yeah,
have.
I give a lot of the felon
Yeah.
the people that's coming out of prison. Let me say
Mhm.
that. I
Yes.
get them opportunities to get back on their feet. Actually, I have a lot of them come through management. A few of them have been managers at my place, and they have went to other things to do their own thing, and that's pretty much what I do. I try to promote people to be great, and I don't limit people from they greatness. Like you might be you too big to work here. So, and I can identify that. I'm not going to pigeonhole them to say, no, I need you here because you such a good worker. Nah, go do your thing
Mm.
because it's somebody else going to come through. And it always works out like that. So
Right.
that's just me.
So you told a little bit about. So she wants to know what motivates you to do what you're doing.
What motivates me? Well, real quick, I left home when I was 15 years old. That's how I got them kids being grown. um, so leaving home, I was actually homeless a lot of time. I was pillar to post, grandma house, cousin house, just trying to figure it out. Sleepless nights, no nothing to eat a lot of times. But something innately that was in me knew that it was something greater that I was here for. And I guess a lot of us have that inner clock that says that it's something that we need to do. And I guess that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I look back, and I look at how I came up without the actual support that I needed. So I try to give back to people that has the potential like I had as a youth. And that's kind of my motivation. It's actually worth more than money to me than to it's worth worth more money to me to give to somebody and support them and help them get to the level they want to be. So that's pretty much why I do what I do. It's not even the money is a bonus, but to actually seeing somebody smile and see somebody get to the level that they destined to be, I love it. Yeah.
Thank you. Again, all the principles they complement one another. We're talking about, umoja, unity, and kujichagulia, self-determination tonight. We will be talking about the others, but those principles, you know, they're intermingled. They're you don't have one without the other. You need them all. And so, you're hearing those different ones when Jamal and Oliver I've talked. And so I think Tramika now has a little service. She can talk a little bit. Tramika, you want to talk a little bit about who you are,
Yeah.
what you are, where you're from?
Can you hear me?
We can.
We hear you.
Okay, good night. Good night. I'm just sitting listening to all the stories and stories, testimonies, whatever you want to call them, and I realize that I am in the space of people that walk in much wisdom and that have like minds. I mean, I sat in a meeting yesterday listening about Kwanzaa, and I realized that that is who I am. That's who I've always been. I don't even have to make it up. I don't have to try to do too much research. It's just who I've always been. Like she said, that I lived in the Bahamas for 34 years. I was actually born in Miami, but I ended up moving to the Bahamas. My mother's a Bahamian. I lived there. I worked at the Atlantis, the big resort, for 21 years. Sold timeshare. So I made Atlantis millions of dollars in ownership, timeshare. And then life took a dip for me after being married for 20 years. I got a
Oh,
divorce
so wait,
and realized that I had to make
hold on. They didn't hear you. It went out. You say after being married for
23 years. I got a divorce, and I realized that I needed life to shift for me. Right, I walked out of the marriage being the good person. I didn't ask for anything. We have four beautiful sons. I actually have a 31-year-old, so I'm in the class with you. Right, I was fast, so when I was graduating, I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but that young man made me the woman that I am today, very responsible. I don't think anybody owes me anything. I know I got to get out there and work. And so these last 3 years has been crucial years for me, but also another pillar of Kwanzaa is my faith. So I have come into contact with some extraordinary people and would be one that is on this platform in the person of Dr. Chester, who heard me, she listened to me, and there are times that she deals with me very, very roughly because she knows what's on the inside of me. And I truly appreciate her. It's not that you just partner because someone is black. You dig the best out of them. And so I heard the gentleman say, even though he had all of his shortcomings or challenges, she still wouldn't take no for an answer or take an excuse. And that's what it has been for me. I did her class, her real estate class twice. And the second time, I kind of fumbled the bag, but I have a word for you, Dr. Chester. I went to do my eye exam last week Friday to find out that one of my eyes is 20/40 and the next is 20/50. So I almost failed the second time, and she was so determined, like, you know what? Just answer these questions for me. And I'm so extremely grateful for someone who I told her I look at her life and I just have made a conscious decision that I'm not taking no for an answer. Right? I don't care what it looks like. In the Bahamas, we don't file bankruptcy, but you might as well say that's what it was for me. When I walked away from a home, a property. I just wanted to make sure that it went in a trust and that the boys were okay if something were to happen to either of us. So I walked away starting from ground zero. I truly see a light at the end of the tunnel, especially after coming in contact with Dr. Chester. She was like, "You got to get it together. You got to get it together." And day by day, I see my life, coming back into alignment. I was supposed to go to college, so I was in FIU, and my father had a stroke, an aneurysm, and so I wanted to try to help him, but I also knew I had this son and I needed to make headway for myself. And so I saw an ad in the paper that asks if you want to make $800 to $1,000 a week. At age 19, that was a lot of money, you know. And
Mhm.
so I stepped out. I took the job. The first couple of months, they ran over me. Everybody was aggressive. I was quiet. Now, I left Atlantis top of the charts. I've been to France. I've been to every trip that they've posted over the years. I won top marketing. I left as an assistant manager, and now I'm here to take the real estate market by storm. I don't care. I don't care what nobody say. Right? I think I'm on the best team, and I know
Oh, man. Dang.
Should be getting that service, boy. So
Yep.
she,
myself.
That's the best part.
When you
There we
about
go.
determination, listen, I don't care what nobody think about me. I know what's on the inside of me, and I know what I can accomplish. I know what I can get done. And so Kwanzaa for me has just been an eye opener to accomplish um, beyond the norm. Right, to make sure that you rise above the occasion, that you level up, and I knew that I was coming back to where I was born, to make a statement. And so it's not competition. I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm here to help my sisters and brothers grow. I'm a strong believer in faith. I have a son, my second son, who's 27. He's a pastor. And so we have a church here in Jacksonville as well. And we just here to take credit for the glory of God. Dr. Chester, this may be her first time hearing this, but I had wrote a vision that one day my sons and I would own a credit union. I am determined. I am determined to help out minorities and those that thought that they could never own a home or could never survive. We do a lot of outreach. We feed the poor. We go into communities. My house is always full. From the Bahamas, and I moved back, and it's just on the inside of me. I'm always going to try to help, and sometimes it's so funny. You in need, and you making sure everybody else okay, but it's just it's. I sat in the room and I knew that this was the last year that I was not going to celebrate Kwanzaa. We didn't do gifts this Christmas. We did unity. We played Jenga, we played bingo, we played Uno. We did so many things, and I looked at my children. One is 31, a 27-year-old, 26, and a 17-year-old. All boys. I have all kings. So you know you can't be a weak black woman with four boys, right? And so I looked at them yesterday and realized that I didn't have to go to the courtrooms, that I didn't have to worry about them raping someone's daughter, you know. And I'm just so grateful and determined that me and my children are going to do what has not been done or heard before. And people may laugh and think that it's um, just a vision, but it's going to speak because I have self-determination like none other, and I believe in unity. I believe in coming together and working together. It's not about me.
So fast, so much. You don't took us on the whole roller coaster. I was kept thinking you and you didn't. The point that I wanted her to that she don't gloss all over 100 times was, like she was saying, she left the Bahamas at a 23. She didn't just leave a marriage, she left the Bahamas after being there 34 years and being in a 23-year marriage, and came to the States to leave that marriage to start over and didn't have anything but her faith and her children. And it's how we came to meet someone that a common person, I can't think of the word, mutual friend, a mutual
Right.
colleague introduced us. And so I was able to help her do some stuff and help her and her youngest son. And so she's been clawing her way back up from being in a marriage, working full time, but using her money to take care of the family, to leaving that job and leaving that stability, leaving where she said she was, and coming here and starting over. And so that has not been easy for her. She's worked one job, two jobs, three jobs. And she was saying that she now has completed the real estate class and she's getting ready to take her state exam. And so she has vision and goals. And she realized that upon watching Kwanzaa virtually and participating in the event we had yesterday, that she too realized that I am Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is me. It's not something that is contrary to my faith. It is in addition to my faith, it actually strengthens my faith. And she is a strong believer of God. They are Christians, as she was saying, her 31-year-old is a pastor. Right? So I know she was saying a lot. She was going at Bahamian.
Thank you for summing it up.
That's what she was
that's what I was saying in a nutshell.
Her story of Kuji Chagulia, her story of self-determination. So it looks different in all of us. And I think, social media and comparison contrast syndrome that everybody has, like people, like your struggle, what you're coming through, what you're persevering, who you're becoming, what you want to do, that is yours. It's not for everybody. It's not for social media to determine or to share. It is yours. And so figure out who and what you are determined and meant to be and work towards that. And know that there are people out there that are rooting for you. And that if you put the right energy out there, they'll find you. Because I'll tell you, when I tell you alignment ain't nothing like it when you actually speaking it, Oliver, Jamal, and you're actually believing it and you're putting yourself in position. So if you guys know, I always talk about 5 platforms of success. And so, it's mindset, affirmations, expectations, daily habits, staying in position to win. So mindset, affirmations, expectations. Mindset, affirmations, expectations. If your mind, mouth, and heart are in alignment, I'm going to see it come forth in number 4, daily habits. I know if you really believe what you're saying, because you'll be moving towards that. You'll be doing things that are saying that you believe the words that you are speaking and the things that you say your mind believes and the things that you say you want, right? Those things will be evident in your daily habits and the things that you're doing. And so, are you in alignment? Because when you are, I'm telling you, what comes to you, it be what you be needing. It's like it's what you need if you're in alignment. So work on getting in alignment, guys, so you can run these principles, so you can be walking these values, the Nguzu Saba, right? Dr. Malena Korenga. 1966, author, activist, professor. One is something just to ground us Black folks. That's what it's about. It is secular. It's not spiritual nor religious. It's just a cultural thing. And it's just really about us getting aligned. with who we are innately anyway, not realizing that we fighting against that daily. That's what it's about. And each of us understanding what unity is and what self-determination is. Kujitagalia, how that looks differently in each of us, right? Yes, yes, yes. She says alignment, mind, mouth, and heart. That's right. Make sure they're in alignment. Receive that. Yes, yes. And so, Tramika, I'm gonna let you get the last word. Get the because I'm getting ready. We're gonna close out. I'm gonna let you give your final thoughts. I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then you're gonna give final thought. And so my question is, um, when you were at your lowest, like when you thought it couldn't get any lower, what was it that made you move? And then what did that movement look like?
Worse, only could be up from here. And
Turn your camera off and
I'm
talk.
sorry.
Turn your camera off and then talk.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So I knew it couldn't get any worse. I knew it couldn't get any worse than this. Than where I was at the time. I was down. I went back to Miami where I was born, and I just was holding on to my faith. I've seen. I've lived on the mountaintop before. I walked away from my six-figure paying job. And so I knew that when I walked away with the same values that I had all along. I may have lost some stuff, but I didn't lose my tenacity. I didn't lose my faith. And so what I did was I just plowing at it. Now you said something great because sometimes we could say things and then we're not in alignment with it. But I start to surround myself around people were were in alignment with their destiny and purpose. And so I started to move from there. And it's been a slow journey. Sometimes you want it fast because these all the money and all this. So I made some bad
Tramika,
decisions. But
Tramika, it's breaking up so bad. We trying to hear it, but it's not even cooperating with your camera off. We can't hear nothing. It's just we trying, straining, and it ain't
okay,
happening. I don't know what's going on. The devil just don't.
sorry. Okay,
I, but I got the gist of it. It's just it is going crazy over there. You sound like an underwater robot.
I- I'll be back with my laptop tomorrow.
Okay. Now it gets straight. Like after you start talking now, it's clear. It was weird. I mean, it was
Yeah,
just weird. But we did hear you saying about slow and you think it's gonna be fast, and I did hear what you were saying. And
right.
so we did hear that part. I don't want to risk it though. Don't try to say nothing else. So Jamal, Jamal,
Yeah, talk to me, Dr. Chester.
same thing. What does it what do you or when you have thoughts of giving up? Do you ever have thoughts of giving, like just saying, I don't want to do any of this anymore? So do you, or when you do, what brings you out? What brings you up?
Oh, well, yes, I'll be wanting to give up every day. Like,
Wow.
just
Wait,
waking up. Like,
record that. Did y'all hear what that young king said?
that's funny.
I want to give up every day, yet he is accomplishing.
Every
Because I
day.
want you to hear what I told you, what he accomplishes. He's working on his doctorate. He's a financial
Oh,
advisor. He has been across the country going to conferences and conventions, presenting and being in attendance. And he says every day he feels like he want to give up. Okay, go ahead.
not just waking up, not being able to see is like every day I gotta trust people.
Hmm.
Like every day I gotta eliminate somebody's thought process on how a blonde individual should move. Every place I go, since I'm not with people, they be like, "Where's your aid? Like, aren't you supposed to be home on Social Security? Like, what are you even doing here?" Like, they tell you that straight to my face.
Mm.
It's like, it's just like mind shocking. And plus, I'm black, so I'm like doubly disabled. So it's like the first disability is black. The second disability is not being able to see. And when you walk into certain spaces, people prejudge you. And when they prejudge you, it can eliminate what you really want to do out of life. Like, it's a struggle every day. But like, you don't need sight to have vision. That's why I tell myself, like, they don't see
Mm.
what I see. So I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going to be. I just got to stay focused. Like, every time I feel weak, every time I want to give up, I tell myself, stay focused. Stay focused on the vision you got for yourself, because they don't know where I'm going, but I know where I'm going. So and that's why I tell myself, you don't need sight to have vision. And a lot of people are going to judge you, but they're not going to be where you're going to be in the next 5 years. They're not going to be where you're going to be next year, next month. They don't think big like you.
Mm.
Okay. So every day, so you say every day you feel like giving up, and you gave us why you want to give up. What keeps you getting up? What keeps you saying, I mean, knocking down them barriers every day, doing even more, going even farther? You know, what motivates
It's not just me. My community motivates me. I want to eliminate the stigma of black people. My my family motivates me. Dr. Chester, you motivate me. OSG. I got too much things to do to give up on myself. I got too many people to inspire. Like, you guys told me to inspire you guys. Like, I don't be thinking about that. I think I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, but it's not about me. It's about the people that's looking, and about the people that think they can't do it. Just think about it. It's not just black people. It's people that with disabilities. They think they can't do it. It's just like a whole group of people that's being told no, they can't do it. It's being prejudged. I'm doing it for them. Like, it's not about me. It's about the people that's looking at me.
Mm.
All right.
Mm.
All right. So, Oliver.
Wow, Jamal, that was profound. That was big.
Yeah.
Um,
Same book.
well, I have several times I wanted to give up, but this one particular moment, after I got shot, I actually got shot twice. That night, um, I got shot in the back and I got shot in the buttocks, and it nipped my intestines. So I actually had a catheter and a colostomy bag for like 7 months.
Whew.
But when I woke up from the surgery, I actually woke up to that, and I had a cracked pelvic from the bullet hitting my. I actually still had the bullet inside me, a cracked pelvic, so I wasn't able to walk. I wasn't able to use the restroom. So when I actually woke up to that, I gave up for like a minute. I gave up. I felt like I was useless. I was like, I can't walk. I can't even use the restroom myself. I literally gave up for like a minute. But something within me said, no, oh, I call myself oh, you got to get out of that. But what that did for me was it made me understand like a lot of what we call bums, or we call homeless people.
Mhm.
It made me get an insight on how they didn't have the strength to say, they didn't
Mm,
have the strength that I did to be able to come back and motivate myself to get back right. A lot of them just lost. They just literally gave up, and I gave up. I gave up for like a minute, but I was able to catch it. But a lot of people they're not able to catch it. So I'm really, I show empathy to a lot of people that's homeless. Some of them was run game, but some of them they really gave up, but they just gave up permanently. So
mm,
now my way of looking at life is totally different. And another thing that made me want to get back right. I have a lot of people depending. I got employees depending. I got my kids depending on me. You know, I got family that's dependent on me. So it's like it showed me it's bigger than me. It's bigger than me just to be giving up. So that's why I didn't give up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I think for me, with the stuff that I've gone through, I think, initially, like as a little girl, like people are like, well, I don't think it was ever an option as a little girl. Like I never even thought about just not overcoming whatever the obstacle was. And so as I got older, and people say, well, what was it? What was it? I could only say that it had to be God. I'm like, the only thing I could think of it could have been was God, because, and if we all know, God is in each of us, right? So even though I didn't grow up in the church, my first experience with church was when we lived in Soul City. I don't know, they used to probably come to y'all projects too, Oliver. Remember the little white people used to come with the white school, the church used to come with a
Yeah.
bus and pick us up and take us to church.
Yeah.
So it's like some white Christians used to come pick us up and take us to this church somewhere. Our parents used to let us go, and we used to go. And I remember they baptized me, like when I was like 8 or 9. Like that was my experience with church. Oh, and then there was a black lady in Soul City, and her name was Miss Sarah. And Miss Sarah used to do the Good News Club. And I used to go to her house on some Sundays, and listen to the Good News Club. And we used to sing a little good news, Christ died for you. We used to say that song. So she used to be trying to teach us about the Lord, about God and Jesus. And so that was it. A few little interactions with that. But I didn't like find God for myself until I was an adult up in Tallahassee. And so my experience with God, I always tell people it wasn't tainted by anybody else's preconceived notions, or this my relationship with him was always mine, not tainted by family or external or any other experience but mine. And so I think it was when I realized that I'm God. God is in me. He's in all of us. And I started understanding that that's why I was able to overcome so many traumas and so many different things. And so I just really don't believe that no, and like the shirt says, if you can't find a way, make a way. And like it's always a way. There's never ever not a way. It's always a way, right? So I believe in that. So that's for me. And so lastly, Jamal and Oliver are going to give you guys the last words to take us out. What would be, the last thing that you guys would want to say around unity or self-determination, any of the other principles, just some advice and just something you want to leave the listening audience with? It's you, Jamal.
Oliver, you could go first.
I knew you was gonna do that.
Hey, you get to do it too, though.
I knew he was gonna do that. I don't know why.
Well, I'm glad you do that. Means you were ready.
No, I'm just making it simple. I've learned over time, like you can't help everybody, so you just got to get around like-minded people and encourage them, and we encourage each other, and that's how we get to the next level in life. I'm not trying to save everybody, so just work like, and that's just what it needs to be. On you, Jamal.
That's funny.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that though. I spent a lot of time trying to help people that just wasn't on my level, like-minded, and it was a waste of time because you can't. So you got to, like you said, find those alignments, find those like-minded people and experiences and situations and etc. I agree with that. Jamal?
I said it already. You don't need sight to have vision. You know, a lot of people gonna have a vision for you, but you keep your vision and you keep pushing towards what you want to accomplish in life. You be self-determined and make it happen.
That's right. Make it happen. Self-determined to make it happen. And so nothing like self-determination and unity, guys. And we'll be talking about tomorrow. We have Ujima, which is the third principle. It is collective work and responsibility. And so we'll have some new guests and we'll have the conversation. And so thank you, Oliver and Jamal and Tramika, even though you're in the background. Thank you guys for joining me tonight to talk about self-determination. And We will see you guys tomorrow. Habari Gan.
American.
Barry Gum,
But
let's do it.
Oh God.